Hey there, Central Ohio. I'm 10 Weather Impact meteorologist Michael Behrens. We're keeping an eye on a pretty quiet forecast here around Central Ohio. Honestly, not much to talk about when it comes to active weather in our neck of the woods. It's really going to be a continuation of the quiet pattern that we've gone into the start of the week with, and that pattern going to continue as we head through the next couple of days with only really minimal chances for rain anytime in the near future. Weather impact headlines heading into this afternoon. Another sunny one out there today. Make sure you get out to enjoy it. Great temperatures, great weather for any of those outdoor activities. And the rain chances, like we said, remain on the minimal side. They're not 100% down to zero, but they're pretty close to it. We're talking 10 to 20% or less when it comes to rain chances in our near-term forecast. So that's great news for outdoor activities, but not so great news for any of those farmers out there, people of gardens, people of plants. They're going to be kind of suffering here over the next couple of weeks as we really don't see much moisture coming our way anytime soon. When it comes to outside this afternoon, we're looking pretty nice. Lots of clear blue skies, only a few high, thin level clouds, and the temperatures again quite comfortable for this time of the year. 76 degrees outside right now. A low humidity, winds are calm. Really can't beat that kind of weather to get out and enjoy. Take the dog for a walk, head to the park this afternoon. Any of that going to be great weather to get out and enjoy. We are expected to get close to that 80-degree mark later this afternoon. We're already there in Bell Fountain up to 81, Mount Gilead at 79, Delaware 78, Newark as well checking in at 78 this hour. Those temperatures likely to just sort of touch that 80-degree mark this afternoon before starting to come back down tonight, and then we'll progressively get a little warmer each day from now through the weekend. We'll be back into the mid-80s by the time we head into this weekend, so you're going to be feeling a little bit more warmth by then, but still not much chance for rain anytime in the future. Next 12 hours, lots of sunshine, clear skies, again hitting those low 80s this afternoon. We will drop back down into some cool weather tonight, getting down into the 50s as we head past midnight, and we'll kind of settle into those low 50s as we head toward tomorrow. If you're outside enjoying the day today, the UV index, keep in mind that is still on the high side. UV of level 7 out there for tonight. We'll see those conditions out there still needing the sunscreen as you head out across central Ohio. Again, not as high of a UV index as we start to get into those latter months of summer and into the fall, but still enough that you need to take protection if you head outside. The other thing to watch for is the allergies out there. While we're out of tree pollen season now, grasses and molds are on the low end, but the weeds have really been the one that has kicked up our attention up to moderate levels out there. So if you're suffering from allergies right now, it's really that ragweed pollen that would be a concern for you heading into this afternoon. Speaking of those rain chances, there is a small one in place over central Ohio for this afternoon, but that is, I want to emphasize, small. We're talking 10% here, and that may be a little bit too much. Then we get down to zeros as we head into the start of the weekend, with our only real next chance for rain coming with a system Saturday night into Sunday. We're thinking 20 to 30% right now, so not a high threat for rain, but one that we will have to keep a close eye on as we head into the weekend. Though I think, again, we're kind of going to dodge most of the moisture potential out there as we head through the next several days. Speaking of this afternoon, not a lot of moisture in the air. 44 the dew point here in Columbus. That's very dry air. That drops to 32 in London. Bell Fountain reporting a 16. I'm not quite sure if it's that dry out there, but again, it is definitely very dry air, and any kind of moisture that pushes our way going to have a hard time really doing anything in this kind of an environment. And we can see out there right now the radar is nice and quiet across central Ohio. We were watching a little bit of moisture in Indiana and Michigan. That was pushing into Ohio this early afternoon. You can see most of that not really making it. There may be a little bit of rain coming down in and around northwest Ohio, up toward Toledo, up toward the Indiana-Michigan border, but most of this again drying out. You can really see all of that moisture there in the center that came through Indianapolis, not really making it to the border. And then again, some moisture down in Kentucky, but I don't think it's really going to impact most of us here in central Ohio as we continue into this afternoon. Don't look for really anything other than some cloud cover to come from the system. If you're looking for moisture moisture, just not going to be what's in the cards. And then again, if we do see even a sprinkle, it's not going to be meaningful moisture as we head through this afternoon. Here's the hour-by-hour forecast. What we're looking at out there, some clouds pushing through. We'll see those clouds coming across the region into this afternoon. That's really about all the moisture we're going to get out of this system. Beyond that, back to dry weather as we head into Thursday morning, and only a few clouds out there as we push our way through Thursday afternoon. More sunshine, much like today. The long-range forecast out there is going to be, again, something we keep an eye on for the weekend. Here's the latest information heading into Saturday. Saturday itself looking pretty dry, same as we head into Saturday evening. But Saturday night, once we get past midnight, that's when we could see at least a disturbance push through central Ohio. That could bring us that risk for some rain across the region. Again, this is not expected to be a big rainmaker. In fact, you can see it already pretty much wrapped up by sunrise on Sunday. And while there may still be a few lingering showers into the day Sunday, a lot of the day is going to be dry. And in terms of meaningful rainfall, we're probably not going to pick up that much, only a couple inches. Oh, that would be a lot. Less than a quarter inch is what I really meant to say. Not much rainfall coming our way. Current drought levels out there. This will get updated tomorrow. We do have moderate levels of drought starting to pop up in central Ohio. Anywhere in those tan colors is getting to that moderate level of drought. We're abnormally dry elsewhere for the rest of, well, most of the rest of the 10 TV viewing area under that yellow color. I would expect to see this expand as we head toward tomorrow and then likely over the next 2 weeks where there's just not much rainfall in your forecast. 10 weather impact 7-day outlook. Again, we do see those temperatures slowly march up the scale as we head into this weekend. The temperatures out there not going to feel all that bad because again, there's just not much moisture in the air. So it's not a very humid forecast. And we head toward Friday, we got, of course, 1st and 10, those high school games. Going to be warmer than it has been for a couple weeks out there. We'll talk about low 80s for warm-ups and kickoffs, but those temperatures will quickly drop back down into the 70s as we head through halftime and toward the final score. Same for Saturday. We're looking at pretty warm temperatures if you're tailgating. It's a night game for OSU finally here in Columbus. So if you're out there, say early afternoon, early evening, it's going to be toasty. We're talking mid 80s for those temperatures. That will drop down toward around 80 degrees and then get its way back into the 70s as we head through halftime and toward the end of that game. Temperatures kind of peak on Sunday up around 87, and then we drop back to the mid 80s as we head toward Monday and Tuesday. So we will get back to that a little bit warmer than average, but not by much. Forecast, just really not much chance for rain as we head through the next couple of weeks, and we really could start to use some rain out there, especially for those farmers. But if you've got outdoor activities planned, this is kind of the best weather you could hope for, and with so much good weather in the forecast for getting outside, let's talk about some different ways you can get out to enjoy that. One way, well, it might be going camping. For some families, spending a weekend out in the woods is a cherished tradition, but for others, it's a daunting idea. A unique project aims to change that by teaching basic camping skills for free. Bradley Blackburn shows us how. We got to figure out where the front door is.
Longtime friends Jane Charles and Sandra Araniva have never pitched a tent in their lives, but with some help from camping ambassador Alex Pila.
And we're just going to clip them on like that.
They got the job done.
Is that good?
Even if they didn't make it look easy.
Good job. Nice.
That was great.
Beautiful.
We did a great job.
You can see the fruits of your labor.
It's like our outdoor home.
One of the first time mistakes that people always make is everything takes longer than you expect when you're camping.
The city dwellers from Albany have traveled the globe together, but they've never taken a camping trip.
No. It's the bugs that kept us out.
Bugs, the nature.
So they got brave and signed up for the New York State First Time Camper program for some instruction on what to do.
I think it gives more people the opportunity, right, to experience something that maybe they've been putting off like we have.
New York State's Department of Environmental Conservation hosts free training weekends multiple times a year when a few lucky folks who were picked from a lottery learn everything.
We supply all of the equipment for them, and we introduce them not only to camping camping, but other outdoor activities like boating and fishing, hiking and birding.
Jessica McBride runs the program. She says for many, camping is a foreign concept.
We get campers who've never slept outside of a high-rise building before.
But it can be learned and hopefully enjoyed.
Fingers crossed everything goes well.
If it goes well this weekend, do you think you'll be back?
Not next weekend. A little bit of time to forget, maybe.
It just takes a little help to get comfortable in the great outdoors that's not far from home. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, Woodstock, New York.
New York State parks say that more than 75% of participants in the program return to camp again. They say that other states also are developing similar programs. And speaking of heading outside, we're working to keep you safe in the outdoors. Experts are warning that this year's tick season is proving to be a little bit tickier than last year. Researchers say they are seeing an increased number of ticks, including the invasive longhorned tick. As you can see from this map, the tick has been spotted in central Ohio, including Franklin, Delaware, and Licking counties. The insect presents a challenge for pest control because females can reproduce without mating, which means a single individual can cause an infestation.
They tend to infest livestock, so livestock trade or movements, but we have seen a decent number of them also now attaching to humans as well as companion animals, so such as your dog or your cat or things like that.
Now, ways to prevent tick bites include wearing protective clothing and avoiding overgrown vegetation. Also, while outdoors, the Ohio Department of Natural Resources is asking you to report dead and sick deer because of a disease outbreak in southern Ohio. The disease is called EHD and is most common in deer, the most common deer disease in the U.S. ODNR says that this year's outbreak is the most significant that they've seen since they started tracking the data. As of September 2nd, there were 5,000 cases in Ohio. The disease is usually spread through biting midges, and once the weather gets cold enough for a hard freeze, those insects will die off, eliminating new cases of the disease.
We want hunters to be aware of what's going on so that they can educate themselves on what is out there. They can talk to their neighbors and get everyone kind of on the same page with regard to what they're seeing with the deer herd in their area.
And if you see a deer acting strange or a dead deer, report it to the ODNR. We have a link to do that on the 10tv.com website /featured links. And moving to a different kind of outdoors, the tropics, and believe it or not, things are actually pretty quiet out there. It's the peak of hurricane season, but the Atlantic is unusually quiet right now. Most hurricane activity occurs from mid-August through September and the first half of October. As of September 10th, the statistical high point of the season, but for the first time in nearly a decade, the season's peak will pass with no active storms. The last was Tropical Storm Ferdinand, which fizzled out far from land on August 28th. The National Hurricane Center expects the Atlantic to remain quiet for at least the next week. We do want to take a quick look at the tropics and see where they stand as of now. Again, the Atlantic has been pretty quiet, but we have been watching at least some activity in the Pacific. This was over near Hawaii, still north of Hawaii. Once a powerful storm, Category 4, now a post-tropical system, Kiko there, moving north of the islands, thankfully passing by without much impact, though we could see some additional development here in the Pacific in the coming days. In fact, there's a system right now offshore from Mexico. This guy expected to likely form into a system here as we head through the next couple of days, up to about a 70% chance in the next 2 days and a 90% chance of development in the next week. So I would expect to see something eventually come from that system and then move into the Pacific. Like we said, though, the Atlantic, unusually quiet for this time of the year. No active systems right now, and in fact, the only system coming our way in the next several days is about 40% or less when it comes to chances for development. So something we'll watch, but again, not a lot of activity, at least as of right now. And finally today, let's check out some new video into us here at 10 TV. Speaking of Hurricane, or what remains of Hurricane Kiko, it was creating some great surfing conditions for those in Hawaii. Those northern beaches out there getting a lot of wave activity from the storm, but also having some dangerous surf warnings out there, because you can see how rough those waters are and just how quickly those out there in the water can get overtaken by those waves. But you know, you got to have waves to go surfing, and if this is the kind of weather you're into, great weather out there in Hawaii. And looking back over the weekend, a rare blood moon rose over Beijing's Forbidden City. That was in the early hours Monday. Spectators gathered to gaze at that total lunar eclipse, again taking place this past weekend. One called it the best thing you'll ever experience or witness. As the best thing out there, was a 20-year-old student told reporters. The Earth and the moon align to produce that total eclipse and creates that beautiful red sight that you sometimes see up there in the sky. It's a great video there, and it's sad we missed it here on our side of the planet. But what you didn't miss is today's Weather Impact Show. And while that might be it for us here on 10 TV Plus, coming up later this evening, Chief Meteorologist Jerry Martz, he'll be right back to talk about any of those rain chances as we head toward the weekend and our warming temperatures. Until then, more online, 10tv.com.